All right. Hello, everybody. I want to give a few minutes for some people to start joining in. I see we're coming along here. I'm really excited that all of you took this time today to spend with us. We really appreciate it. I know that many of you are business owners and have tons of things to do today, or earlier today you did. So really appreciate you taking this time to join us to learn all about everything you can do with e-commerce, with our developer tooling, all of the possibilities that you have. It's going to be a really, really interesting session. So this is being recorded. So for anybody that knows you can't last the whole time, you've got some things to do, you have to pop off, don't worry. I will be uploading this session to YouTube later this week. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get that notification. I will drop that in the chat here shortly. And if you registered for this event from the studio events page or from somewhere else outside of the Devs on Wix Discord community, I will also drop a link to Discord in the chat too. It's a really great place to collaborate with other developers, get your questions answered, and learn about a lot of the things that we're doing for devs here at Wix Studio. Other than that, I think we're ready to get started here. You did not come to hear me yap today, so I'm going to turn it over to the very talented e-commerce team here. And I will be in the chat if you have any questions. They are going to do some Q&A at the end. We'll get to as many questions as we can, but go ahead and drop anything into the chat or the Q&A feature, and I will be keeping tabs on that throughout the session. Enjoy and take it away, guys.
Thank you, Amanda. Hi, everyone. I will share the presentation in a second. See that it works. Does it work? Can you all see my screen? Yes, thumbs up. That's great. Cool. So it's really nice to be here, and thank you all for joining to the session about the e-commerce platform for developers. My name is Dor. I'm leading a product team here in the e-commerce platform group. We also have Omer here and Evgen. Both of them are leading developers from the team, and we're going to talk about the e-commerce platform that we've developed over the last year or so, some cool new features and the extension points that you can manage. This is the agenda for today. We'll start with an e-commerce platform overview. A quick overview just for the ones who doesn't familiar with it. Then we'll dive into the purchase flow. We'll talk about the entities, extension, and customization options. And then we'll talk about the post-purchase flow. And then we'll have time for Q&A. We're good? Let's start. Okay, so let's start with the overview. I'll start with what we consider as e-commerce. It took us a while to understand it, but now we are pretty sure. So the e-commerce is, or electronic commerce, refers to the buying and selling of goods and services over the internet. That's pretty straightforward definition. Basically, what it means that if you're selling something online, you have an e-commerce business. This is how we see it. An e-commerce business can come in many variations. For example, you can have a store, flower shop that sells flowers. If you're a barber shop and you're selling your time, that's also an e-commerce business. If you're selling tickets to events, or even if you're a marketplace, all of those, because the transaction happens online, we consider as e-commerce. What does a platform mean? And this is our definition of an open platform. This is how we see ourselves. So an open platform, basically it's a software that allows development and integration for third-party application and services, meaning that users are not limited to using only what the platform creator, in that case Wix, intended to support. It is designed to be accessible, flexible, and allowing developers and users to easily customize and expand its capabilities. And this is our main goal, which takes me to our mission as a group. Sorry for that. Our mission is to become the platform of choice for any e-commerce business that allows to sell anything online, as I mentioned before. And we do that by two things. First, we are providing an open and composable and rich in functionality platform that you'll see in a second. And also, we are supporting the ecosystem through the integration and partnerships. And this is one of our main goals going forward this year and the years that will follow, to create a very live ecosystem. And that's where you come in. And we are focusing only on making you extend the platform and make it easier for you to make business. Let's go over a bit over the e-commerce platform structure. So how do we do that when we build the platform? First, we decided to define the e-commerce common ground. We figured that a lot of the different e-commerce business has the same components and need the same things. That allows us to remove duplications in Wix, to increase the expertise and know-hows, and to separate the concern and responsibilities. After we've modeled the common ground, we will create an out-of-the-box components and solution to all e-com businesses. Basically, it means that we'll provide tools for developers that can be reused to support all of those business aspects and verticals, and let others focus on what they do best, matching the product to the business segment. And of course, the last one is to partner with others. And this is where we see the importance of a vibrant community and make sure that everyone succeeds. And this is what we came up with. This is what we think is the e-commerce common ground. You see all of the components that build this platform. Let's start and go one by one. Every e-commerce business has a catalog. He sells something, right? So the things I sell can refer to physical products, but not only. It can be services, gift cards, pricing plans, digital items, rentals, whatever. If you're selling it, it's part of your business catalog. Second is the inventory. The inventory is what manages the availability of that item or the things that I sell. Can I sell this item? Where should I sell it from? All of that is part of the inventory aspects of the e-commerce business. Cart, pretty much familiar with that, I guess, is the basket for the buyer. Checkout, where the buyer actually makes the purchase with everything related to that. And that splits, and how we see this split is by the calculation of the total amount to be paid, right? How much it costs, how much should be paid. And when we calculate that, we take everything into consideration. We take the items, the taxes, the shipping, the discounts and fees that should be applied for that specific order. Payments, which mean how can I get paid? As a business, I can have multiple ways to get paid. It can be credit card, gift cards, membership payments, and more. Lastly, the order, right? The order entity, which reflects the contract between the buyer and the seller and its huge life cycle. Order created when the purchase flow ends, but it never completed unless the merchant decided to, right? You can edit an order, you can cancel it, you can refund it. There's a huge life cycle linked to an order. And lastly, fulfillment. And fulfillment actually means the process of getting the items to the buyer. If it's physical items, that means I will use some delivery method in order to ship it around. But if it's a digital item, that means that I need to send an email for you with download link, right? And if it's a booking, that means something totally different. But it all comes under the umbrella of fulfillment, and this is how we see it. So what do we offer in e-commerce platform? Basically, we have a set of APIs and development tools, the Wix SDK and CLI, that provide e-commerce functionalities and essentials. That means the create order API, create checkout, charges, and more. We also have a set of UI components which are relevant to the e-commerce domain. It can be collect payment button from the dashboard. It can be a cart page, checkout page, and a lot more of those components. And an easy way to customize and extend both of those. And I want to explain a few things about extension tools in Wix. So basically in Wix, we're separated between two different types of extensions. We have something we call service plugins, which we used to call an SPI, for those of you who are familiar with that. What's a service plugin? Basically, in the easiest way to understand is an API that Wix defines, which you can choose to implement. And when you decided to implement this API, you're becoming a service provider. In some point of our flows, in our backend flows, when we decide, we will call this service provider and ask you for something, to do an action or give us some data, so we can continue and take it into our flows. And based on your response, we'll know how to act. So that's a service plugin. The other type of extensions are UI extensions, where you can bring your own plugins to be shown within our product seamlessly. It can happen on the site side, what is rendered to the buyer, the site plugins, but we are now supporting a variety of dashboard plugins where you can interact with our predefined or pre-built products and integrate with it seamlessly. This is a high-level map of our extensions. So you can see all of the places where we allow to add your widgets to it or extend the logic using a service provider. You can see it here. Let's jump on top of that. So what's the news here? Basically, after we created this platform, we started to migrate all of our Wix business solutions to use the same components and the same platform. This is the list of all of the Wix solutions that already working with e-commerce platform. You have Wix bookings, Wix stores, Wix table reservations, Wix restaurants, Wix forms, and pay links. We are currently working on onboarding Wix events and Wix pricing plan. So you'll have a full solution. All of the Wix business verticals will use the same shared components. Not only that, we also allow you now, and this is new, to bring your own custom business solution. So if you didn't find anything that cover all of your cases, you can create your own custom business solution and integrate with Wix e-commerce platform. The bottom lines here. So what's in it for you? First of all, you can now customize more projects that in the past you couldn't. We have a lot of places where you can customize the experience and integrate with your logic as part of the e-commerce flow. It also gives you the power to develop only once and get out of the box support to all Wix business solutions. And you will see it in a second in our demos. You can develop one application that serves booking, store, restaurants, all of the Wix business solution in one place. That give you time to focus on your expertise and get more revenue opportunities. That's it. That's the overview. And now I will pass the mic to Omer to show you a bit in more details about the purchase flow.
Just give me a sec, everyone, to share my screen. Google, please. Thanks. Hey everyone, I am Omer, a backend developer in the cart and checkout team. In this part, I will be walking you through the purchase flow on the Wix e-commerce platform, introducing the main services and entities involved. We will explore how you can customize and extend the platform to create unique shopping experiences. By the end of this presentation, you will have a solid understanding of how to leverage our tools and APIs to build tailored solutions for your business or clients. So before diving into the specifics of each entity in the flow, let's take a real quick look at a typical purchase flow. So it starts with a buyer, which adding some item to the cart. Then the cart goes to the catalog to fetch information about the item, and it does so from the relevant catalog. We'll explain later what it means. Then there is a calculation of the total amounts to be paid, including taxes, shipping, discounts, and everything you can think of. Then the buyer chooses to proceed to the checkout, where they enter all the necessary details. And finally, they place the order and complete the purchase. So now that we have seen a high-level overview of the purchase flow, let's dive deeper into the main entities that power this process. Those entities are basically the backbone of every e-commerce business, and we have 3 of them. The first one is the catalog. As Dor mentioned, a catalog can contain anything sellable, from physical products, services, gift cards, and more. In the slide, you can see 2 examples for catalogs. The upper one is a store catalog containing 2 products, and the lower one is a bookings catalog containing yoga sessions, both from the same site. Then after the catalog, we have the cart. The cart is where the customer gathers the items they intend to purchase. So in this example, you can see a cart containing both a yoga mattress from the store's catalog and the mindfulness session from the bookings catalog. The cart also includes details like tax estimation, delivery options, and more, and the price summary. To the right, you can see the cart object taken from our public documentation. Finally, there is the checkout, which is the final step of the purchase flow, where customers review their order, enter the details, and confirm the purchase. Here you can see the checkout of the cart we just saw. And to the right, you can see the checkout entity from our documentation. Now, over the next few minutes, we will dive deeper into each one of them, exploring their capabilities and nuances. You will also learn how you can leverage them effectively to meet your specific needs. So let's start with the catalog. As I mentioned earlier, different businesses offer a wide range of items, physical products, services, event tickets, and more. The Wix e-commerce platform is designed to accommodate these diverse needs effectively. Our platform provides a flexible interface for integrating externally managed catalogs. It's called the Catalog Service Plugin. Now, worth mentioning that most of the existing Wix business solutions, like Wix stores, bookings, restaurants, and more, each implemented their own catalog. And those catalogs are integrated with the platform via the Catalog Service Plugin, which means this allows them to seamlessly integrate with carts and with the platform's cart and checkout functionalities. Similarly, you as developers can create your own custom catalogs and integrate them with the Wix e-commerce platform using the same plugin. It only requires from you implementing a single API called Get Items and registering as a catalog provider in Dev Center. Doing so, you will connect your custom catalog to our platform seamlessly, and by that, it will be automatically integrated with cart and checkout. So as you can see in the diagram, the Catalog Service plugin integrates seamlessly with all different catalogs installed on the site, ensuring smooth access to any available item from each one of them. Now let's move on to the cart. The cart is the first entity you encounter in the Wix e-commerce platform purchase flow, playing a major role in the customer's shopping journey. A cart holds information about a potential transaction, including all selected items, prices, discounts, and more. One of the standout features of our Wix e-commerce platform cart is the mixed cart capability, which allows customers to add items from different catalogs to a single cart. For example, store product and a booking service, same as we saw previously when I introduced the cart entity. This flexibility simplifies the shopping experience by consolidating the reverse offering into one transaction. In addition, developers like you have the flexibility to create your own custom cart page using the cart backend and frontend APIs. These APIs allows developers to tailor both the UI and business logic of the cart experience, offering full control beyond the default cart page that we offer. You can design and implement a cart experience that aligns with your specific business needs and unique requirements. The following diagram highlights the mixed cart feature. You can see a buyer adding both a store product in blue and a booking service in orange to the cart. For each such addition, the cart interacts with the catalog service plugin I mentioned earlier. The catalog service plugin then identifies the right catalog to retrieve information about the given product, and then fetches it from the catalog. After we gathered all the information about all the cart items, then cart interacts with another service called the totals calculator in order to calculate the totals to be paid. This service we will explore shortly. Now let's take a look at the mixed cart flow in action. So this is our demo site, and I want to add 2 products to the cart. Let's start with adding some store product like a yoga block. So we'll go to the item page and add it to the cart. To the right, you can see the side cart feature, which also belongs to eCom platform. And from this feature, you can go directly to the checkout. You can also go to the cart page. But for now, I won't do both, as I want to add another item to my cart. I want to add some mindfulness class. So I'm going to the classes section, choosing a mindfulness class, choosing the date that I need. Enter my details and add to the cart. Now I'm going to the cart page. And as you can see, I have a cart containing 2 items. The first one is the stored product, which is the yoga block, and also a mindfulness class, both in the same cart. And from there, I can proceed to checkout and pay for both in the same time. Now let's go back to the slideshow. And I just mentioned the totals calculator, and which is a core component in our system. It serves as the calculation engine that drives all the financial computations throughout the purchase flow. It includes tax estimations, shipping costs, gift card apply, discounts, and many more things. But the most interesting thing about the service is its integrations with different service plugins. Instead of handling all the calculations internally, it relies on multiple service plugins to manage specific tasks during the calculation process. This setup gives developers and merchants the power to customize how totals are calculated in both the cart and checkout flows in their site. So in the diagram, you can see most of the service plugins that are integrated with totals calculator. For example, you can see the tax service plugin, the discount service plugin, the gift card service plugin, and additional fee service plugin. So as you can already understood, you can implement those service plugins in order to integrate custom logic into our flows. For example, you can choose to implement the additional fees service plugin to introduce extra charges into the cart or checkout. For example, adding an extra fee for handling fragile items. Another example is the validations service plugin. Using it, you can enforce custom validation rules to ensure specific conditions are met during cart or checkout flows. For example, requiring minimum quantity of a specific item before letting the buyer proceed from cart to checkout. So by leveraging those service plugins, Totals Calculator ensures that all customizations are seamlessly integrated into the calculation process, providing a comprehensive and flexible solution to managing the total cost of a purchase. sorry. Soon I will show you an example of implementing or integrating the additional fees service plugin into the demo site. Now, checkout. So checkout page is the final step of the purchase flow, where customers confirm their order and complete the purchase. In our platform, buyers can reach the checkout page either from the cart or directly via a buy now flow from some items page in the catalog. Each checkout entity holds information about the items to be purchased, price estimation summaries, tax summaries, shipping and billing information, apply discounts, and more. Let's quickly go over the diagram in the slide, which provides a high-level overview of the checkout flow. So let's assume a buyer went through the cart page and decided to proceed to checkout. Then checkout integrates with the validation service plugin that I just mentioned in order to verify that all conditions are met and valid, and we can let the customer proceed to checkout. Then checkout goes to the catalog service plugin to fetch all the up-to-date information about the items to be purchased. Then again, checkout integrates with totals in order to calculate the total amount needed to be paid. Finally, after the buyer is happy with the purchase and inserted all the relevant details, he can go ahead and place the order through the Wix order service. Now, a key strength of our checkout is that it is fully customizable and extendable. In high level, you can do it in two main ways. The first one is integrated custom business logic through various service plugins that we just went over. The second one, which Dor mentioned before, is extending the checkout page with custom UI plugins. The main thing that I want you to take from my talk is that our platform gives you the power to customize multiple aspects of the purchase flow, with the checkout being the main area for these customizations. So now that I've introduced the high-level flow and the available backend service plugins you can implement, let's move on to the checkout UI extensions. So Wix offers a way to add custom functionality to many parts of a site through site extensions. This includes the checkout page, where developers can implement plugins in predefined slots. These extensions can be created as private apps for personal use across your account, or as public apps published to the Wix App Market for monetization. So if you'll take a look to the right, into the screenshot, I took it from our checkout documentation. It provides a map of the available slots within our checkout page, where you as developers can decide to implement or integrate UI plugins. Now that you have seen how the checkout page can be extended both via backend service plugins and UI plugins, let's dive into a live demo to see how these concepts actually come together in action. So this is the, you see my screen? So this is the cart from earlier, which with two products, store product and a mindfulness session. Let's assume now I want to proceed to checkout. This is our platform's checkout page. You can see here the order summary, including the items to be purchased. Also here the price summary with tax, delivery prices, and the total price. Now, here you can see a nice addition that I made. I implemented a UI plugin using the blocks editor and implemented it on my site in the predefined slot. So how it is done? Now I want to show you the blocks dashboard. This is only one way through which you can implement site plugins. So this is the Wix blocks dashboard, which is split into two areas. Above, you can see the UI design of the plugin that I created. And below, you can see the backend code that interacts with the UI. Now, this is the UI plugin. On the other side, I also have, this is the site editor. This is the Velo editor. I implemented the additional fees service plugin on my site. And actually, this additional fees implementation and the UI plugin you just saw works together. So if I will go back to checkout, once a buyer chooses to ensure the items is going to purchase using my application, he hits the button. What happens behind the scenes? My blocks application write some information to a local CMS database on my site. Basically, it writes that for this checkout, the buyer wants to insure his product. Then my additional fees implementation knows to read from this database and check whether for the given checkout, the buyer wanted to insure its items. If so, my implementation adds a custom additional fee with a price of €5. Now, let's see it in action. Let's assume I choose to insure my items. So I will hit the button. And shortly, a new additional fee is added to the price summary. As you can see, insurance fee came from my additional fee service plugin implementation, €5 price. And you can see the new total taking into account all the additional fees and everything else. Now, let's finalize the order. So I will put in my details. Let's assume I am buying it for someone else, and I will enter the recipient details. Enter my address and continue. Lucky for me, shipping is free. Let's continue. Now I need to enter my credit card details. So let's do it. And now I will place the order. And basically by that, finalize the purchase flow. So here you can see the thank you page that the buyer got. It basically means that the order went through and I finalized my purchase. Nice thing you can see is the additional fee that it also reflected in the thank you page. Now I will end that I finished to show the purchase flow. I will hand over the mic to Yeven to show the post-purchase flow.
Thank you, Omer, for amazing presentation. Give me 1 second to share the screen. And meanwhile, hello everyone. My name is Yevhen. I'm the backend developer and lead of the e-commerce orders team. And now we will take a look and take over the Omer's flow, right? And take a look how it looks on the post-purchase side of things. Should be able to see my screen now. What I wanted to do in this part of presentation is first to review all the entities that are involved in the post-purchase flows. Also take a look at the main flows that we have on our site. You will see that the flows are much less linear than they were on checkout, that we do have many different options, how and where to move on, and our approach will be more API-centric, so bear with me. We will take a lot of looks at API entities and how they interact with each other, and then we will move on and see what our current UI is capable on to support all of these API capabilities and how and where you can extend it. So let's start with looking which part of the global ecosystem are under our wing and what we do support. So the centric entity and the centric services are revolving around the orders. We also do have a platformized payment services to accept, correlate, and create from scratch the payments that will affect the order status, and fulfillment services to create, update, modify fulfillments that will also affect the order status fulfillments. We will see how they interact and the examples of their usage later on. We also do have totals calculator, as you can see, involved for the more complex order editing flows, which we will also explore in the further slides. Now let's see how these entities pan out in our UI and how they're represented in the dashboards of our business manager. So the main entity is order. You can see here as the order details with all the relevant information passed either from the checkout that Omar was presenting before or directly through the API. We also do have the edit order capability, which we will explore further on, and additional functional related to fulfillments and managing payments and refunds. So let's see how the main entities are interconnected. So in the center of the picture, we do have order. Then it has the order transactions, which is compounded of refunds and payments related to it one-to-one. And the order transaction object is just a wrapper to hold multiple refunds and payments that, as I said, can come from external systems or come from Wix payment system or created manually. Any refund and payment are recorded on and projected on order, can affect its balance, statuses, and cause different side effects. The same story with fulfillments, which also is external entity and is correlated to orders one-to-many, and both payments, refund, and fulfillments reference to the same line items that are passed from checkout or direct from the API on order. We also do have several additional entities that also can be passed from checkout or externally, like additional fees, discounts, tags, and extended fields, which we will see and touch later on. And also, I noticed the invoices here. This is the also related entity, but it's managed by the separate team and separate projects. But we do keep the relation between the orders in our system to the invoices. And last but not least, the draft order service, which allows for the more complex modifications of the orders, as we will see further on. Now, let's move to the main API and main entity orders, which holds obviously the information about all the purchased items as well as the buyer itself. Also, all the relevant information about shipping, billing, and any additional stuff applied on discount or applied on checkout, such as applied discounts, fees, custom tags, extended user fields, and more. So the main actions, as from any e-commerce API that you could expect, are getting and searching for orders, updating and canceling an order. Here, but by update, we mean more simpler actions like updating some of the order statuses, whether it's archived, or updating some minor info. To update the monetary information or other sensitive shipping information, we will have to use draft orders API that we will see further on. Also, the order API exposes the events that any other app or external consumers can listen to follow on and react on changing of the order states. On the right-hand side, you see the example of the documentation, which is readily available in the Wix docs, where you can see all the order fields and, of course, provided API methods and triggers. Order transactions is the related entity that coexists with the order and depends on the order availability. It needs to be bound to it, and inside it, it stores the data related to all refund and payment transaction that will be associated with this order. It's pretty straightforward. It can be, as I said, can be added from external systems internally or manually. And with this API, you are also able to retrieve transactions by the order ID, add new payments and refunds, and listen and subscribe to corresponding events in case of transactions creation or modification. Now, before we move on to more advanced entities and services like draft orders and fulfillments, I would like to take your time and see the basic order creation flow, see how it pans out and how all the mentioned services and APIs, basic APIs, do interact with each other. Now, let me make it a bit slower for you to follow. Now you see with these nice animations, we see the sequence of the requests and sequence of the interactions between different parts of the system and different APIs. Well, first of all, interaction starts from creating an order. That could be an API call or the result of the checkout that we have seen before in the demo. Then we get the initial side effects triggered, like, for example, order created event or inventory updates or media upload if necessary. And then you can see the user may add the payment or payments adds externally. Then it gets consumed by the orders API. And now we are reacting on the payments information. If the payment is valid and covers the order, we can update the order states and trigger additional correspondent events for external or internal consumers, and finalize the order states by generating invoices, sending notifications, adding activities, etc., etc. Actual transitions and actual side effects will depend on the payment and order state at the given time, and it can happen in multiple iterations. Now, let's say we have the order created, but we want to modify something. We will explore the specific scenario later on. For now, let's say we just need some monetary or line item information modified on the draft order. Sorry. For that case, we do provide soon to be released the separate API called Draft Orders API, which allows to create an independent draft out of any existing order and add or delete or modify parts of this draft in the separate flow, is the separate session. So as you see, it mostly concerns the line items, discounts, shipping addresses, or some buyer information. Everything that affects the order state and affects the monetary information of order will go through the draft orders flows. Now, let's see how it can work in some hypothetical scenario. So first of all, the prerequisite of any draft order for now is existing order. So let's say we have created one in advance. The user have created one by any means. And then we can use the draft order API to create the draft order out of this existing order. Of course, triggering corresponding domain events. Then user starts introducing modifications into the draft order. For example, in this case, by adding line items and setting additional discounts to this draft. If everything is correct, then we are ready to commit draft order. But before that, we will use before mentioned totals calculator API to finalize the calculations and verify and provide the final order state, final draft order state before it's ready to be committed to the existing order. See it as a snapshot that gets updated with the newer version with all the latest changes. Now, if everything is correct, you see we are ready to commit the deltas to the order API. It's our internal API. And provided that we covered all the relevant criteria, we are able to trigger order updates, maybe order side effects, depending on the final statuses, etc., etc. So the regular order flow. Now, let's discuss the last API that are we interested in, the order fulfillments. So the fulfillments are independent objects that can be created and managed separately from order, but still they will require existing order entity because each fulfillment is bound to order. And they provide capability to track the statuses of fulfillments for any applicable line item of order. Usually that's applicable for the physical line items, right? That require the process of preparing and delivering physically to the customers. With any other APIs, it allows to create and update the fulfillments entities, the retrieve associated fulfillments, and of course expose a set of events that can be listened, subscribed to in order to react on fulfillment changes. So we will see how it works in the last short dynamic flow in the next slide. Let me make it slower. Now, the user, let's provide that we have an order in place. The user might want to create a fulfillment first through the fulfillments API. We check that the order is present for this fulfillment, and then send notifications if necessary. By notifications, we usually mean the buyer notification about the shipping. Then, depending on the state the fulfillment was created in, If it's not completed upon creation, we might want to complete it in separate request. That will also trigger the events about fulfillments updated that any TPA can subscribe to. And as you see, each of these fulfillments updated event is also consumed by the orders API. So orders can dynamically react to the changes in fulfillment states and modify the orders fulfillment status accordingly. We will see how it all plays out in the UI in the upcoming demo. But first, moving from the APIs, I want to touch the order dashboard extensions topic and see what we can compare to checkout, right? Another part of the systems. One can be provided from the backend side of things. By the backend, I mean the business manager and dashboard. So today we'll be talking specifically about order dashboard extensions. They are a little bit differ. They differ from the checkout extensions in the regard they not depend on the blocks functionality, but instead they depend on the Wix CLI functionality and needs to be developed as a separate JavaScript or TypeScript code. That gives us a little bit more freedom, but also it might be a little bit more complex. I will show you later the example of one implementation of such slot. So we will see how it looks from the backend side of things. So in our system, in the orders pages, you see we provide the slot in the order details page. We do provide several, it's so-called dashboard plugin slot. We also do provide some of the menu slots. For example, in the more actions, you will see in the following demo where exactly it's located. Also, we provide one slot in the collect payments menu, so the TPAs can reach the collect payments flows with their own options. And last but not least, we do provide additional slot in the order list. So some of the bulk actions can be customized by the TPAs and the functionality can be enriched. Also on the draft order page, we do provide separate slot to do additional modifications or shortcuts for the specific draft orders flows if the TPA chooses to. Now, I would like to show some demo and see what we can do from the UI point of view with the order that was created by Omer in the demo before it, and see some of the extensions in action. Well, let's move on to the newly created order. Now you see we are browsing the business manager order parts. Let's open this order and see the details that we discussed before. And for this presentation, you might have remembered that I was showing you this location for the plugin. I choose to implement the maps plugin. So right now we have the shipping address listed here just as the text and some external link to the map. So that was not good enough for me. So I decided to take this concept further on and just embed the map with the order actual recipient location here on the order details page. To do that, here is the small piece of code that I have hacked like in one day, in half of the day. So it doesn't do much. It just takes the order ID that is sent to the slot by the UI, fetches the order by the REST, the publicly available orders REST API that we discussed before, and enriches it, gets the coordinates through the Google Maps API, right? And enriches the page with actual map with the location information if it can be resolved for this recipient and for this order. So that's a very simplistic but practical example of what can be done. You can see that we can provide any kind of content in the slot, external content, embed anything, and also, of course, do this by leveraging the existing APIs and communicating with Wix entities to get all the relevant data. So, as I promised, some of the other places here, the action from slot, that's also a sample, no implementation, just showing you where it's located in the actual UI. Here could be your advertisement could be here, right? Your implementation could be here from your TPA. And also the collected menu, collect payment menu, we will not see it here because the order was already paid, but no problem. Now let's try to edit the order. Let's move on to the second part of the flow. So edit the order, and I was showing the flow before. Let's try to replicate it. For example, the buyer made order. Then he forgot to add something and contacted me as a merchant directly to not create a new order, but introduce modification into this one. Let's say I agreed to meet his demands, to add another line item. You see, I'm doing it using the catalog and adding this line item directly into existing order. And let's say I also wanted to charge him for his short memory and add some custom custom fee on this order. So this is also a custom action provided by the TPA. That's one of the slots that we have seen. Let's see, name it charge and charge him additional €5. You see the charge is added and the totals are calculated using totals calculator. And now we are ready to update the order, commit in the API terminology, and obviously we can email also the client about this change. And now the order should get updated, hopefully. And you see now it's only partially paid, so all the reflected changes all the fetch changes were reflected on the statuses. Now we are able to collect the payment, and I am able to show you the final slot, like this menu option from slot that's also can be enriched and customized. Now, the last part was add some tracking number or just for the full picture. That would be a fulfillment that we discussed before. So here how it looks from our UI, but of course you can use the API directly to do all these changes and be even more specific and detailed about it. So now I can also use in the same page fulfill the order. So the tracking in our system, adding the tracking number means the order is fulfilled, at least for this case. Okay. That's winds up the demo from my side. We have seen the flow that we see before in the diagrams, right? And we have seen all the places in the backend, in the business manager, where we could use the plugins or we could add additional plugins through the TPAs. And we have seen how all the main entities are interacting with each other and how they are influencing each other. So that's all from my side. Thanks all for your patience and for attention. Now I want to give the word to Dor. Take it from here, please. And thanks once again.
Hey guys. Cool. So that sums up our demo. We answered some questions during the session. Amanda, do you want to?
Hi, I'm back. So I saw that you were answering a bunch in the chat, and also everybody, you came in with so many great questions. We've got a lot going on in here. I didn't know, did anything particular pop out to you, Dor, that you want to bring up live? Or if not, I can go through a few that I don't believe you answered and pop them to you guys here.
Yeah, you can, let's do that.
All right, so I saw one come in from Quentin, and he was curious how you were able to use a test card for checking out. Is that something available to the dev users?
So it's currently something that we use internally in Wix. We do consider to open it up for in dev mode for some of the users. So you can test like the full flow of charging credit cards and see it in your own eyes instead of just like marking things as paid or using manual payments. But currently it's not available. We can follow up on that.
Yeah. Let me see some others. I'll get some of the ones from earlier in the session that I don't think you saw, Dor, since you were presenting. So one of our first questions that came in from Ritwik, if he's still here, it asked if the backend stock modal will ever be editable or configurable in the Studio editor. So I don't know if that falls under you all.
The backend stock is still a Wix stores feature. I can share that at the beginning of the presentation, I show all of the entities that we consider part of e-commerce platform, and we did had one that talks about inventory. Basically, what we are going to do there, we are going to introduce the new service plugin. And the name is still to be discussed, still not final. It can be inventory, it can be availability, but the essential is that you can integrate with it and you can manage the availability of items and will rely on that during the entire flow. So when you add items to the cart, move to checkout, create an order, edit an order, and later when you refund or restock an item, will notify you, not by an event, but actually a service call. So you can manage the inventory that way. And it will be available for all verticals. As I mentioned before, all Wix business solution will use the same thing.
Awesome. It looks like he's
Co-
saying that
co-
he actually meant more that he was hoping to know if he'll ever be able to design it, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you would know that or not.
Closer to the actual backend stock, I was once a backend developer, so I can elaborate on that part. I believe the model, the existing model was implemented in the long times before the platform kicked in and all this customization kicked in. So it might be a tech debt on the current backend stock team. So it's actually might be on their list, just not immediately. You need to get in touch with them for more details.
Yeah. I'll take a look at that.
It's definitely doable. It's definitely something that should be done.
I do see
Thank
a
you.
question about draft order. By the way, you saw Evgen showing draft order, which is a feature that is still not released in the API form. And it's going to be rolled out very soon in the next couple of weeks. So get ready for that. The draft order capability will support two different flows. Evgen showed on the demo editing an existing order, but it will also support the ability to create orders from scratch, but getting all of the calculation done on our end. So instead of trying to guess what will be the price of an item, we will give you like a very easy to use API to do that. And there's endless possibilities working with draft orders. You can open a draft and continue it later. It helps with creating orders for multiple devices. So you can start creating an order on mobile, finish it on the dashboard, or even split items or support bundles. So that's really endless possibilities to work with draft order, and it will be available soon.
Thank you, Dor. I also wanted to address one of the questions related to orders APIs I've seen posted by Rami. So about the create order function on SDK is not working properly. So when order is created through this API, right, it's not available on the dashboard. So multiple things might have gone wrong here, but usually the reason is the order status is not correct. Like we do have the original initialized status, and by multiple reasons, historically and practically, we do not display currently in our business manager the initialized orders. So the order should get approved by any flow, right? By, for example, having the payment came into it to be able to be visible by merchants. So now we have another feature in Works that might a little bit change this behavior, but I will not spoil too much. Up ahead.
So maybe a question for Rami can be, you can add manually a transaction that covers the full amount of the order, so the order will automatically be approved, or using the API, just create an order in approved state. That way it will be reflected on the UI. So we have this kind of separation between what type of orders we show the merchant and what's not. So maybe that's an area that can help you solve the problem. Any other question, Amanda, that you feel?
A question that came in earlier that I'm curious about here is from Theophanis, came in earlier, was asking if e-commerce will ever work with Wix hotels and car rentals to handle the whole checkout flow there and add-ons and things for those verticals. Do you know?
Yes. So currently, Twice Rentals, I don't know if anyone is familiar with that app, is working with e-commerce platform. And we do have, I showed only the initial plan to onboard some of the other Wix verticals or business solutions. We'll start with events, then we'll start with pricing plan, and then events, and then we'll get to the rest of them. So hotels are a very good candidate. I can't share timelines because I don't really know yet, but yes, it's on our plan. The rental platform is Twice Rentals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another person had another question about the ability to integrate so that loyalty points, gift cards, anything available to that shopper would be able to be integrated all into the same page so that the experience is more seamless. Is there already a way to do that or anything coming?
So we do have an integration with, we already have a support for gift cards, if I get that area. So you can pay with gift cards using Wix, and you can sell gift cards on the site. We do plan, and this is again something that we're currently working on, to introduce a new integration with Rise to support store credits. And that will be rolled out really soon. So users will be able to basically provide their clients store credits to be used on checkout. And it all will work seamlessly. Again, with the order page will be reflected there, and the clients will have their kind of a wallet, and will be able to pay with it. So
Awesome.
we do have a lot of other efforts that we are trying to cover. Some of our focus going into next year will be to enhance the customer experience of the post-purchase flow, which is everything that you just mentioned. So we are going to give a lot more flexibility there. And during the, in the upcoming few weeks, we're going to release a lot of features related to payments. So we are going to support delay payments, what's called authorize and capture, J4, J5, that goes by many names. So Wix are going to introduce that, which is more common in hotels, rentals, groceries, that type of businesses. And it's going to be seamless, of course, with APIs available. So we're focusing now on that area. Also, we're going to enhance the refund capabilities, and later on focus on the customer experience.
That's coming.
Okay.
And Theo read my mind. That was the next question I was going to bring up, was whether or not there will be XML feeds for the catalog in e-commerce in the future.
That's a good question. I personally didn't got this request yet. We are considering to have some dedicated API for bulk operation, like uploading items to a catalog. But that's like, what's the specific need of XML feeds for developers? If you can elaborate
I
on
don't
that.
personally know, but if you could drop in the chat, it depends. It looks like.
Meanwhile, I can answer another important question that I have noticed. So the question was, do we have a plan to make e-com email editable, right, via the triggered email template? So that's a very hot topic here inside the Wix. We do plan to do it. We do plan to supersede the existing emails and existing mailing system with fully customizable triggers plus templates. That's in works. Without the TA. So we will do it gradually, and you will see it coming, hopefully soon.
So I will add on top of that, not only that we are planning, we're actually developing that aspect currently. We are going to release a whole new set of automation triggers from the e-com platform. That means those triggers will be triggered regardless of what business solution you have. So for bookings, restaurants, everything that we just showed, all of them will get the triggers. And we're going to move all of our emails to use Wix emails and automations, so the customers will be able to customize everything. So you are not dependent anymore on our predefined emails. Yep.
I see one in the Q&A from Duncan. Says, considering the great features slots in product page provides, is there scope to add APIs to dynamically control product page slots to expedite and ease customization, like hiding the add to button? I'm not sure what add to button is. Might be add to cart button only on certain products. if we have an API hide add to cart. Okay, I see what he means. He wants to like be able to customize like the out of the box, like if it's buy now or add to cart, or being able to hide and show these things via API or some other way to dynamically control the product pages.
So currently the product page is built on blocks, and in blocks you can set up like a code link to it, so you can decide when to show a button and when not to. Using an API, that's a question. I don't know. Maybe someone else on the team here. We also have Aviv here, which is an architect from our team that can help with the questions.
So we in the product page on blocks, which is currently rolled out not to all sites, so it is possible to do on with the Velo code. We are also working on a new capability to allow you to replace the product page with your own custom product page on specific criteria. And we can like collect feedback and expose more capabilities if needed.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure if you're still here, Duncan, but definitely let us know if that answered your question. Another one just came through. If there's any, I saw this come through earlier too. I think also from you, Rami, is that they feel like the performance of the e-commerce stores can be slower sometimes. I don't know if there's anything that's working on internally, or maybe any more guidance for best practices so that people building don't make accidentally their performance slower as well. So any thoughts on performance of the stores?
Yeah, of course. So we know performance is key, and obviously we're working really hard to improve our performance. This is again one of our top priorities going to this specific queue. So hopefully you'll see the difference very soon. Yes, I see that someone asked about the B2B wholesale option for businesses will be cool. So we do have some plans to integrate with the different third-party application that provide a full solution for B2B. Once that partnership will be more concrete, we'll share more details. Yes, there are, in general, we showed you just a sneak peek and maybe just the leanest capabilities that we have currently. Everything else is available to our documentation. We have a bunch of new features coming up. So, yeah.
So we're definitely a little over time now. So unless there's anything else, do you guys have any other closing thoughts? Any questions you definitely want to answer live before we go ahead and wrap this up for everyone?
Maybe I just say that everything that we showed you here is available to our documentation. It's all live. Some parts are going to be live very soon in the upcoming week or so. So it's really exciting time for us. And as I said initially, one of our main missions is to make this community grow and to give you as many tools as possible so you can grow your businesses and create more solutions. It also it benefits everyone, the users, you and Wix, and we see it as our main goal. So we'll really appreciate your involvement and questions and everything that you want help with. Feel free, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, really appreciate everybody joining. Anybody whose questions didn't get answered, the team will take them and we'll make sure to get those answers out to you and make sure everything's accounted for. If anything else comes up to you, make sure to find me in Discord. I'm very online. You'll be able to find me. And this video will be uploaded to YouTube within the next day or two. So make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and let us know if there's any content you want to see in the future, whether it's about e-commerce or any of our other developer tools. We're always excited to bring these sessions to you all. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Amanda.